Whoa, guys, my heart almost stopped when I saw these people running for their lives today in Sicily when Mount Etna erupted violently and unexpectedly. It was absolutely crazy if you see the pictures. And are these people really aware in what grave danger they were? They even stopped down the road and film and still film. I mean, yeah, now we have the footage, but I don't think they're aware how dangerous this was. And yes, residents of Sicily are familiar with eruptions of Mount Etna. We hear this all the time, but this eruption, it's the 14th eruption in recent months, but they didn't see that coming. There was tourist groups with guides and everything up on the mountain. So it's rare that people are injured or killed at Mount Etna. We've seen this in the winter. They were skiing next to the glowing lava. But during a February eruption this year, officials were forced to try to stop people from heading towards and not away from the spewing Mount Etna, as tourists tried to snap, of course, these dazzling flows of bright orange lava that Etna produced with the white snow that was looking pretty. So people are like, are they daredevils, or really don't they understand that these volcanoes cannot be controlled and cannot be predicted 100% how safe the eruption or how big the eruption will be, because previous eruptions at Mount Etna have been devastating. I don't think people are aware of that. The worst among them was in 1669. At least 20,000 citizens, mainly from nearby the city of Catania, are believed to have been lost after a massive month-long eruption, and approximately 3 people living on the side of the volcano were lost because of asphyxiation, while a further 17,000 people below lost their existence after refusing to flee their homes. They believed the city's defensive walls would protect them from the volcano. Etna is Europe's tallest and most active volcano. We cannot forget that. It's a stratovolcano. You see it. It's very, very present on the east coast of Sicily, in Italy, in the metropolitan city of Catania. And it's located right above the convergent plate margin between the African plate and the Eurasian plate. So what happened right now is a gigantic cloud of ash that has triggered an avalanche of volcanic material that has ripped down the side of Europe's largest and most active volcano, Etna. The massive eruption on the Italian island of Sicily has sent these visitors, we can say, scrambling for safety when they saw that black smoke rise high above Catania. And Catania is a city with more than 1 million people that is located near the volcano. And then what followed was an avalanche of hot lava blocks, gas, and other volcanic material called pyroclastic flow. And that began at around 11:20 a.m. local time. That's why we had the tourists there. And really, when we look at the footage from the eruption, it makes it look like the volcano is splitting open from the top down. And then the ejected material races down the side of the volcano. So scientists that are observing the volcano, and that volcano is observed day and night, they said that the latest eruptive activity likely started after a collapse of material at Mount Etna's southeast crater, where the explosive activity has since then now became a lava fountain. That is the latest update from the Etna Observatory. That is also run by the INGV, Italian's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology. Thankfully, for now, there are no reports of injuries, but I think it was a close call for these tourists. And White Island, New Zealand, that was an absolute tragedy. We all remember that. Now the INGV says everything's normal, everything's under control. The mayor of Catania said there is no criticality. It's a phenomenon that repeats itself. And in light of the monitoring of the volcano, it was already expected. Then I asked the question, why were the tourists there? Because that were not just two daredevils. It seems there were older people. This looks like a guided tour. Only because Mount Etna has been basically constantly erupting since November 27, 2022. And it's over 11,000 feet tall. That is 3,350 meters. And it's also not the most active. It's also the tallest volcano in Europe. Right now, the ash from that latest eruption has risen quite high. It has risen to up around 21,300 feet. That's 6,500 meters, or like 4 miles into the sky. So this rise of the ashes is almost twice as high as the whole volcano itself. So the rest of this cloud is mostly composed of sulfur dioxide. This is gas. When it's released from the volcano, it can mix with other gases and particles in the atmosphere to form like a haze that is called volcanic smog, or VOG. And if you inhale enough VOG, it can cause respiratory problems and other health issues, like eye and skin irritation, according to the USGS. But for now, officials in Italy haven't warned the population of any threats. We will see. What the Etna Observatory has announced then, that the eruption has stopped, local time almost 5 p.m. So how concerned should tourists that are still on the island or are planning to visit the island and locals be about this eruption? There's a professor of geophysical and climate hazards at the UCL, Bill McGuire. He said that today's eruption at Mount Etna was nothing unusual for the popular volcano. Although this can appear terrifying to tourists visiting the volcano, this activity is nothing unusual for Mount Etna, which is almost continually active and has these sorts of eruptions every year or two. Well, thanks. I don't want to be there when this happened. This was way too close for comfort when you see these pictures of the tourists. So the professor further said that the ash and the volcanic gas that's spewing from the crater is most likely only near the summit. So if you're near the summit, it can cause respiratory problems. He says if the eruption grows and there is heavier ash fall further away, then face masks can deal with the worst of the ash. He says there is a danger from falling blocks and volcanic bombs. These are these semi-molten fragments that shoot out like bullets of the volcano. Have unalived, how you have to say on YouTube these days, a guy that was hiking Stromboli when this happened, and these rocks hit him so much it was over. So he says, well, they're close to the erupting crater and they should be avoided. Yeah. So for him, the biggest problems are caused by lava flows that basically come from eruptions on the flanks of Etna, and they can be very destructive. But so far during this eruption, it wasn't a problem. But also the president of Sicily has said we're following the eruption with extreme caution. So I think what this professor said, he should be a little bit more cautious in my opinion. So the president of Sicily said, I'm following with the utmost attention through the head of our civil protection, the evolution of the situation on Etna. The partial collapse of the southeast crater, which generated an imposing eruptive cloud several kilometers high and a pyroclastic flow, represents a phenomenon that we are following with extreme caution. At the moment, from this first survey, material has not exceeded the edge of the Val del Leone, as they assure me there is no danger for the population of Catania. Well, and it seems since the eruption is now over, thankfully he was right, but definitely scary pictures of Italy. That's why I did show them to you. Guys, check out the videos in the end screen. It's still new dangers at the landslide in Blatten in Switzerland, really absolute tragedy. And if you want to support the channel, guys, if you liked what you saw, leave this video a like, share it with your friends, subscribe. And if you want to buy me a coffee, go to my buymeacoffee.com/silky site. The link is in the description of this video. If you send me a message there, I can answer you with a 30-second video message, and then you can even video message me back and I can video message back, so we can actually see each other and chat. I think that's a great page, so check it out. The link is in the description of this video. And hey, be safe. If you go on vacation, don't take too many risks. That's my opinion. You don't have to get too close. You can see the inside of the crater of any volcano on videos here on my channel, for example. So don't risk anything because of that short moment of excitement. I don't think it's worth it, but it's your decision, of course. Thank you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.